What's your favorite scary movie?
What's the Boogeyman?
You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand? It's showtime.
There we go. Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast. Again, I'm your host, Robby.
I'm Sammi.
And this is my beautiful wife, Samantha, or Sammi.
Sammi.
She likes Sammi.
I prefer.
And we are joined by a very special guest. If you have not seen the first Scream, you're missing out.
For sure.
Leonora Scelfo. I got that right.
Close enough.
Are you Italian?
I am a mutt, but
Okay.
yeah, some of my people are Italian.
Okay.
Okay.
I was asking her, I was like, what's
Well,
your
I don't
last
know.
name? It could go either way.
I don't know.
No, you actually did the last name right. It's Leonora Scelfo.
Leonora.
Okay. So we'll use yours. So I want to make sure I get your name right. So say it one more time.
Leonora Scelfo.
Awesome.
There you go.
For my mistake. There we
My
go.
friends call me Lee, so you can call me Lee.
Lee. There you go.
Okay.
Call her Lee.
And you're not based out of LA. You're based in Austin.
I am based in, well, I spent most of last year in LA, but I am
Okay.
in Austin. At this particular moment, I'm in Houston.
Okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
Yes, I live in Austin.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
So
most
before-
of the time.
Okay.
That's cool.
So before we really begin the interview, kind of introduce yourself, people that are not familiar on who you are. You know, give them the highlights.
Well, I think everybody knows me from Scream, the first Scream, and I was the bitch cheerleader
Yeah.
in the first Scream.
Yes, you
accurate.
were.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's one of my favorite movies. I will watch that.
Really?
Yeah.
I will watch that movie through the year. If we get bored, we'll just pop something on.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody loves Scream.
Very popular.
Absolutely. So, from our research, we know that your mother and stepmother and grandfather was in the industry.
Yes. My grandmother, it's not my stepmother, it's my grandmother and my mom. But
Okay.
yeah, my grandmother was very famous. She did the Roy Roger movies.
Okay.
And she did 8 of them because Dale Evans was pregnant 8 times. So my grandmother was the only woman that she trusted with her husband.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she mostly did Western films, and she was a pinup girl. And my grandfather ran Universal Studios television casting for 30 years with Lou Wasserman, and he cast all the famous shows like Gunsmoke and Bonanza. And then my mother was Deborah Winters, and she was kind of like the Molly Ringwald in the 70s. And she did The Winds of War, Koch with Walter Matthau, The People Next Door. And I was just telling my convention agent, Chris, today that she's in actually a really famous cult classic horror film called Blue Sunshine. And then her and her husband did a horror film called The Lamp. They're pretty popular in Europe. So yeah, I come from some actors. And actually my mom and dad met in Stella Adler's acting class in New York City. My mom grew up in New York City. So they actually met in acting class.
Oh,
I don't
That's
know
very
if
cool.
you guys, do you guys know who Stella Adler is and Lee Strasberg?
I've heard of them.
I've heard of the
I've
names.
never heard of their names.
So that's where they met. So yeah.
That's very cool.
So you're around the business at such a young age. How was it like growing up in the industry?
Well, I grew up in Pacific Palisades, and my dad owned Alice's restaurant on the Malibu Pier. And we had no idea what Hollywood was. It was very common for Steve McQueen to be bouncing me on his lap at my dad's bar when I was 4 years old, but I had no idea who that was.
Wow.
You know, and they filmed so many things on the pier, like the Flamenco Kid and Dynasty and Dallas, everything really. But when you live, I don't know where you guys grew up, but when you grow up in Pacific Palisades and Malibu area, there's one road called PCH. And in the 70s, all I did, we went from Pacific Palisades to PCH to my dad's restaurant. I thought we lived in a little tiny small community. We had no idea where Hollywood was.
Oh, wow.
My mom, I mean, it was like I went to school and Goldie Hawn would pull up the Jeep, and I didn't know who that was except for I know it sounds very glamorous, but when you're growing up like that, you have no idea.
Right.
Absolutely.
And my mom would go off to work and disappear and come home with these Polaroids of these costume fittings, and it just seemed normal. It seemed very normal, and we had no idea. It wasn't until the most impressed I've ever been would probably be with my grandfather, because it wasn't until later when I was in my early 20s when I would meet casting directors like Joe Rich and Reuben Cannon, who was the first Black casting director. My grandfather hired him for the mailroom. And it wasn't until those kind of people were like, your grandfather was like a big deal and was so nice and helped me with my entire career. It wasn't until those kinds of moments where I was like, oh, really?
Very cool.
That's still very cool. Yeah.
And then now my grandmother has passed away, and I still see her on TV all the time. But it wasn't until I started seeing, her on TV that I even knew who my grandmother was. I had no idea. We went to the Roy Rogers Museum, and she was there with Trigger, a stuffed Trigger. And I was like, oh, like, But to me, it was just kind of normal.
Right.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Do you remember going to any like award shows or anything like that when you were a kid?
Well, my parents weren't to that level. My mom did one movie where she starred in with Walter Matthau called Koch. And he actually, sorry, I'm like, I need to not fidget. He actually got nominated. She starred in that movie with him. And he got nominated for Best Actor. Koch with Walter Matthau. And my mom didn't. And Walter Matthau told my mom it's because everybody really believed that you were a pregnant teenage girl. So I didn't go to any award shows. Hollywood was different in the 70s. It was more like the golden era of Hollywood. It's nothing like how it probably is now with all the reality shows being filmed. I think just billionaires live in Malibu now. When I was coming up, like it was a community. You could afford to live there.
Right.
Yeah.
It was amazing to grow up in Malibu, Pacific Palisades area in the 70s. It will never be replicated. It just was a sleepy, cool beach town. So.
Right. That makes
cool.
sense. I went to Ball State University, and after college, I went out to LA, and I was an editor for a while for a reality television company.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And then,
what reality show?
I worked on several different ones. I'll tell you after we're done recording, but but yeah, I'll let you know. But then the economy tanked, and then I had to come back home, and then that's how I ended up actually meeting her. Because my idea was to actually go back. I grew up in Indianapolis, but I wanted to come back and go to LA again. But it's so expensive out there if you don't have a job or anything like that. And then at that time, I went to every major studio, Warner Brothers, DreamWorks, Pixar, trying to get an editing job.
You should have called me.
I should have.
If only.
I should have.
My sisters are huge producers, commercial producers. You should have called me.
I should have. But now we know each other, so that's great.
They're still doing it. Yeah, it's very much a who you know business, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So you started your career. I know your very first play was the Snow White in grade school.
You did your research.
Wow.
I did.
Grade
in kindergarten.
Throwback.
that is a throwback. And then you went out.
That touches my heart that you know that. Like, no interviewer has ever mentioned that. Thank you.
Well, I tried to do my research. And then you studied at the Atlantic Theater Company. Can you tell me how that experience was?
Well, I was when you grow up with a mom and a grandmother as beautiful and talented as they were, I in no way compare to them or their careers. You kind of feel like you have to act. It's like the law almost.
Right.
And So yeah, it was David Mamet's theater company, and everybody. I always assume that everybody knows what I know, but younger generations might not know who David Mamet is. But he's a huge playwright, and he wrote Glengarry Glen Ross, the famous line, "Do the ABCs always be closing?"
Yep.
And William Macy and Felicity Huffman were my teachers.
Oh,
And
really?
it was pretty incredible. Now they had a very specific way that they taught acting. I'm a much more spontaneous person, but I learned so much and I had so much fun. But at the end of the day, I'm not really a school person.
I agree with that.
I ran a theater company in upstate New York at a prestigious prep school for 13 years. And a lot of what I learned there, I used towards that. I much prefer, I don't think you would know this, but directing over acting. So
Absolutely.
I was, it's kind of not an awkward thing, but a different thing for me to be interviewed. I'm usually the interviewer or directing or listening. So I learned all of that from actually William Macy. He was a phenomenal acting teacher, and he taught me, I don't remember if he said this or if this is what I learned, but for acting, it's much more interesting to be interested. And if you look, especially with horror films, if you look at Nev is really good at this. I remember Skeet told me, you probably want to get into all of that pretty soon, but
eventually, yeah.
Skeet would tell me, he's like, I've never worked with Nev, but when she would work, she would do very little. And sometimes I would be like, what's going on? Everything with her face, her expressions. So, yeah, that's what I learned from the David Mamet experience. As long as you are completely present and actually interested in what the other actor is saying, that's going to be interesting to watch.
Don't you kind of play off their emotions too? Like in the scene?
Well, you would think, but that is actually a very difficult thing for, in my opinion, you either have it or you don't as an actor. A lot of people are in their head when they're working with somebody, and they're just thinking about what they're going to say or do next. But what you just said is exactly why Meryl Streep and why the best actors are so compelling, because they are actually reacting. Now you're getting me into because I was an acting teacher for a while. They are reacting to what has actually been given to them in that moment. And that's why whenever you do a scene, it can't really be done the same way, because you're going to be given something different each time.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fun little acting lesson.
Right.
Well,
so,
I don't have anything to do. I'm just...
You did a television show with Jon Stewart?
The Jon Stewart show.
Jon Stewart show.
Yeah, MTV.
MTV. How was that?
Great.
How is Jon Stewart? Is he fun to be around?
So fun. We actually, a lack of a better word, I mean, dated, but we hung out a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was, when I met John, he had just gotten that first MTV show.
Okay.
And Elise Goldberg or somebody gave my agent a call and said, hey, and I just was coming up. Hey, can you find a girl? We want to do a blind date shtick with John. And we got along so well that he had a New York Magazine wrote an article about him, and they actually wrote about our interaction.
Oh,
and they said,
that's cool.
I remember it was the first time anybody had ever said anything about me. And they said, Leonora Scelfo is so opinionated, she should have her own talk show. So I think he was just done being a bartender. And we actually lived about a block away from each other on 11th Street. And he was probably to this day, and now you guys know because he did the Daily Show, but the smartest guy I've ever met. Just so smart. And I used to go watch him do stand up, and we hung out. He was cool.
Yeah.
So you met him.
He probably is still cool.
Yeah.
I would
so you don't talk to him.
Yeah.
Well, I was eating a brunch with my entire family like a decade ago at Barney's. They have a level at the top in Beverly Hills. And he came up and introduced himself and said hi to my whole family. But no, I don't. If I see him, we'll be friendly. Yeah.
Right. Right. It's
Makes
kind of like
sense.
any other relationship. I don't go up to my ex-girlfriends and be
Say,
like,
"What's
hey,
up?"
how are you doing? You know?
Well, no, he's not my ex-boyfriend. We hung out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
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 But no, I would totally be friendly with him.
Okay.
I'm friendly with all my exes and people that I've dated, except for the psychos.
Oh, well, that's good.
Well, understandable.
That's understandably
Yeah.
so.
Could see that. Yeah.
So your very first movie role was Power 98, and that came out in 96. And I'm assuming
Yes.
you filmed that in 95, and it took them a year to actually
Get it together.
get it together.
I guess I don't remember as well as you, but yeah, something like that. Jenny Garth, Eric Roberts, and Jason Getrich, I think
Yeah.
was in it. Yeah.
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 That was your first big role. Like, how was shooting that movie? Like, you're fresh off the TV show, and now you're on a movie set. Was it everything you hoped it would be?
I've never been asked that, and actually, it was very stressful.
Sure.
Eric Roberts is a very interesting person.
Mhm.
And my scenes were always with him. And
Right.
he actually he taught me a lot. He was how can I say it? He knew what he was doing and he knew what he wanted, even from me. So
Right.
sometimes he would direct me more than the director. Not sometimes, most of the time.
Oh wow.
That's even better.
And he just had so many interesting ideas. I remember one time, I don't remember what scene it was because I don't ever usually watch anything that I've done because I get embarrassed. But
That was
he
going to be
wanted
one of my
me to-
questions.
Yeah.
he wanted me to whisper in his ear. And so he told me to do that. Like he would give me ideas and things that he wanted. And when he killed me, because he killed me,
Right.
he didn't need to be there. A lot of times an actor won't be there if you're doing a close-up, but they will be there or they won't be there. But
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
I had to die, and I had to do it a lot of times. He poisoned me with wine,
Mm-hmm.
and he sat right there on the couch, watching me the whole time, even though he wasn't on camera.
Mhm.
And he made it very spooky and compelling. He's a very interesting person.
I'm sure.
Very
I can
talented.
imagine.
I'm sure.
Wow.
Well, that would make the scene and being in the movie so much fun better when you have somebody that's invested in the character and wants the project to come out. You know?
He's
I
an
mean-
incredible actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Um,
brings us up to Scream.
Yes.
So, how did you get the opportunity to be in Scream?
Okay,
How did
there's
that
a
come
lot of
about?
controversy around that because everybody knows that Skeet and I were together. We lived together.
Yeah.
I had an agent. Skeet had an agent. It has been told several different ways. The truth, for my truth, I got called to audition separate than Skeet. Okay. Lisa Beach, the casting director, and I read for Wes and I auditioned for Nev's role.
Mhm.
Wes Craven said to me, Miramax will never have you. You're not a big enough name or a star. However, I would like you to just be the cheerleader. I didn't audition for that part. He just gave it to me. They had been calling Skeet separately and independently and didn't know that we were living together. And Skeet dropped me off at the audition. And Lisa ran out to the car because I guess they've been trying to get a hold of Skeet and he never came in. But because we were dating, he dropped me off at the audition, went and got him. And that's how that happened. A lot of times people say I got the part because of Skeet. That's not how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got that cleared up.
Yeah, that's why I want to ask you these questions directly to clear up any rumors.
Sorry, my Zoom light went out. It's really not that big of a deal.
No, you're fine.
If Skeet had gotten me the part, mazel,
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
that happens all the time.
Mhm.
People
Absolutely.
make introductions all the time.
Right. Mhm.
But that's not how it happened. But if it did happen that way, I would be great. Okay.
I mean, you know this too.
I got an audition because Skeet got me an audition. I would have been grateful.
Mhm.
Nepotism is alive and well, but that's just not how it happened. So
Right.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Especially in Hollywood, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
right. And I'm not like angry about it or anything, but I've spent 25 years not reading articles, not really paying any attention to the Scream stuff.
Mhm.
And I recently I did my first convention, and one of the he wrote the book. He wrote a book on Scream.
Really?
He
Okay.
interviewed Lisa Beach, the casting director,
Okay.
and she told the story the right way. And then I had read some other blogs saying the only reason that Leonora got the part was because of Skeet. So I'm just clearing it up. I don't really care, but that Lisa Beach's definition of what happened is the accurate one, since she was the casting director. So.
Right.
Well, I've actually reached out to her to try to interview her as well. So I've reached out to.
She's great. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope you can get her.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I was excited getting you. I was telling her. I was
Yeah,
like,
we're like,
we got her. We got her. So
I don't ever do. I've done very few. Well, we can get into it, but I just never really understood the whole interest in me for Scream.
well, I really liked your character.
The bitch,
right.
Oh yeah,
I think you
loved
played
it.
that out really
It
well.
was great.
You and your
yes.
co-actress, the girl that was with you.
Nan Ritter.
Yeah. I've reached out to her on Instagram, and I'm waiting for her to see if she will come.
Definitely. She would have done the interview with me. She'll definitely do it.
She's hard to get a hold of. Like, I DM'd her a couple times, and I'm just waiting for her to get back to me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was with me at the Atlantic. I'll give her. I'll let her know. Okay.
Okay.
cool.
How was the Comic-Con?
Yeah,
It
how
was
was
in North Carolina.
No. I haven't. I'm doing that next week.
Next
I
week.
did my first one was in Atlantic City. My first and only.
How was that?
It was amazing. It was really great. It was at the Showboat.
Okay.
I'd been asked to do anybody that's involved with Scream in any way is asked to do conventions, and I didn't pay any attention to it. For no reason other than just I didn't. And then after COVID and the quarantine, and I just get messages off, a lot all the time. And I have this girl in Australia, Aussie Halloween, which she reenacts the scene, and people send stuff. And I just thought to myself, and people wanted to meet me, and I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna do it. So
Why not?
I did my first one.
What was it called? What was the show called?
What show?
Your convention in
Oh,
Atlantic
it
City.
was the New Jersey Horror Film Convention.
Okay.
And I already did it. I did it the 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Okay.
And I signed my very first Scream poster and my very first ghost face.
That's so cool.
I saw that on your Instagram.
And the fans had all the other signatures. They had Skeet, Rose, they had everybody. And they're like, we don't have you. And I think they didn't have Henry Winkler. But supposedly they want, for it to be a collectible item, I guess they want all the signatures of anybody that was in it.
Right. So you get on set, you're on set with Nev, Skeet, everybody, and you're on set with Wes Craven. First of all, how is it working with Wes Craven?
Amazing. Unbelievable. And we had done a cast dinner before that. And I was, because Skeet and I lived together, I actually was on most of the shoot, staying in the hotel. But Wes Craven was unbelievable. And I don't think I could have asked for a better director. He said to me, Lee, I just want you, because basically the scene was a monologue. It was pretty much a monologue.
Right.
And he said to me, I just want you to do it over and over again until you feel like you nailed it. So I did. And on the third time was when I came up with the finger thing. That was not planned. And this thing, none of that was planned. And I didn't do it the first two times. But because Wes made me feel so comfortable that I had the freedom, he wasn't, micromanaging me. I felt some kind of like spirit inside of me. And after that third take, Wes said cut, and he ran up to me and he said, that's it. He
only did it 3 times.
I did it 3 times. And the third take is the one. But Wes came running, and the whole entire crew clapped. It was it was just, Wes said, that's it. That's it. He was so happy.
So when you were doing your monologue,
with the third take,
yeah,
did the whole cast watch you, or?
Oh no, that's not how it works. Nev wasn't even there.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Sweetheart, though, I hung out with her on a friendly. I hung out with everybody. I mean, Matthew Lillard house sat for us, and Courtney would come into my trailer, and David Arquette was my little like Valentine Day boyfriend in 7th grade. We used to, all of us went on dates. We all interacted, but Nev wasn't there that day. She had a conflict, but she called me and said, Lee, I'm so sorry I couldn't be there for you that day. But it worked out better for me because we weren't supposed to know, the characters weren't supposed to know that she was there anyway.
Right.
And I feel like if Nev was sitting in there, maybe it would have affected me on some subconscious level.
Right.
So I think it worked out really good. You know, Betty Davis did a movie with Henry Fonda, and they did a love scene, and Henry Fonda's wife went into labor. So Betty Davis did her scenes to a broomstick. So it's
wow, a broomstick. Okay.
Sometimes you can't always have the person there.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, Nev wasn't there. Nev was not there. That's a little trivia.
Okay.
That is
She
very
did her
cool.
stuff alone without me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's very cool. And this was shot on a film camera, a Panasonic camera, back in those days, correct?
I guess.
Yeah, you guess.
She's like, I don't know.
That's for
Film
all the
nerd
film
here.
nerds out there.
Like,
You'll
whatever
have
kind
to
of camera.
forgive me because I've done a couple of interviews recently is the only reason I even remember some of this stuff. I have forgotten. Nancy Ann is my complete memory. She remembers everything.
Oh, wow.
But now that I've done an interview in a convention, because of Nancy Ann, it's all come back. Nancy Ann and I are friends in real life.
Oh,
And were friends back
Okay.
then, became friends. So
that's
Okay.
cool.
So, let me ask you. So when well, what was I going to ask you? I kind of blanked for a
sorry,
second.
Mom. It's my baby.
So when this movie came out, did you go see it in theaters at all? Were you like, that's me? Did you bring your family or anything?
Bring a whole crew. Come
Be
check
like,
it
watch
out.
my scene.
Do you really want to know the truth?
Absolutely.
I don't mean it to offend anybody. I really don't. I've never seen Scream.
Okay.
Wow.
And I tell people I read the script.
Okay.
I'm very shy. I only very recently because I have people making me stuff all the time. I only very recently saw some scenes from another movie that I was in, which is, do you want to know a secret? And
we're going to get to that.
I thought it was, I didn't know, but I think it's not a bad movie.
I watched it because I knew I was going to.
It's like
It's
a
not
rip
bad.
off of a 90s horror film.
Yeah, it reminds me, it's supposed to be a spoof off of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I still know what you did last summer. But we're jumping ahead. We'll get to that. That. But yeah, I mean, I was in a Lifetime movie, and I was in an Amazon movie.
Yeah, Amazon
Look
show.
at you.
And I know when my part came out, I posted it all on Facebook.
We watched
and
it so
and
many
I went
times.
through it slow by slow by slow, and I was
Every
like, "That's
frame.
me.
Every
That's me.
frame.
That's me."
Every time you walk by.
No, that's so cute. No.
But if
How
I-
did you like that, Sammy? Did you enjoy watching it frame by frame?
It was great. Yes. Over and over and over again.
Well,
it was
really
a lot.
cute.
It was a lot.
She knew what she signed up for when
I
she
did,
she
yeah.
married me,
I
so
did,
she
yeah.
knew what she was in for.
Mhm.
You
But it
guys
was-
are adorable. We should all
Thank
be
you.
so lucky to have a happy marriage.
Thank
like
you.
this.
She's my best friend. Like
Yeah.
she supports me no matter what. Like
Aw.
I'll tell you, I was hit by a box truck a few years ago. I was hit
5
by a
years
20
ago.
5 years ago.
Something like that,
I was
yeah.
hit by a 27-foot box truck in Florida, and I've been through multiple surgeries. And she has been there for everything, thick and thin. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's a
be
lot.
wouldn't be anywhere without her today.
Thank you.
Wow.
And
That's
so-
I'm very sorry you went through that.
No, it's okay.
And
It's
it
okay.
bonded you guys though. That's
Absolutely.
You're a
Yeah,
for
wonderful
sure.
person.
We
Sammy, if I
Oh.
ever met
I'm
man
sorry, you
that-
froze.
I would
What
do
was
the
that?
same thing.
What was that? You froze.
I would do that. I would.
Mhm.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
I respect that you stood by him. That's all.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I
And
would
why
do
I
that too.
watch horror movies and all that now too. Because I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not watch
So,
any of this before.
we own a podcast network. It's called Limitless Broadcasting. So we have the You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast.
This one, yeah.
You have Slinging Pills to Pay the Bills because she's a pharmacist by trade.
Yeah.
We have the Pixie Dust Twins and the Painful Truth of Living with Chronic Pain. And we are now involved with all of those. And so we liked horror movies, and we were like, well, let's not just talk about chronic pain stuff.
Yes.
Let's do something fun.
It's much more fun.
I have some questions for you, Sammi, about chronic pain. Because I have a brain disease. We can talk later about it. Feelings about kratom, actually, because of the opiate problem in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure because of your accident, you had to be on a lot of medication.
He is, yeah.
I was taking, I will tell you, at the height of I still take narcotics for pain. But at the height of it, I was taking 9 Percocet a day. And she said it made me crazy.
It did.
Like, I was, like, very violent. Not to her or anything like that, but I was very angry.
Yes.
I was very paranoid.
Yes.
Listen, I get it. They gave me 120 Percocet a month when I got my brain disease at 40. I don't do that now, but it's called the suicide disease. And all your symptoms you're just saying, exactly.
Yeah.
I've detoxed from narcotics and so many times. Like, I would be on it and I'd be up here and then I would detox and then I'd get back on it. And then after a while, like, I used to have a stomach thing where I always used to, like, throw up and get nauseous.
Lots of nausea, yeah.
And then I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. No. So now I take,
but you were in pain, so you didn't know.
Right.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what about kratom? Have you ever heard of kratom?
I have,
Sammi?
but I've heard it's so hard to pick through stuff, though, because you hear all these, like, bad stories about it. So we're looking more at, like, the medicinal marijuana option for him and cannabis, because I've read a lot about that and how it helps with, like, pain issues, even though there's not a lot of, like, official studies and stuff for it. So we lean towards that, because the kratom, because it's not as regulated, I've heard some, like, more horror stories about people, you know,
like
dying
what?
from it. I've heard them dying from it. I don't know what it is exactly, but I think it's harder because so many people produce it and you don't know where it's coming from. And the medicinal marijuana, there's a lot of dispensaries and they have actual pharmacists and medical people who are involved in it. And that makes me slightly more comfortable too for him. But I haven't read a lot about it yet.
I have a friend who has chronic pain as well. He actually does kratom.
Yeah, he likes it.
I'll get him in contact with you and you can ask him all the questions you want. He uses that. He uses what else? Like pot. I have a medical marijuana card that I just started.
I've handled my pain situation. They came out with something for me that works that's not a narcotic, but I have a friend that has severe back pain, but he's also a drug addict, so he can't take Vicodin and Percodan and all that, but he's still in so much pain.
Right.
And he's on kratom, and in my opinion, it affects him and the way he acts. And I don't know if
maybe.
But I just don't know what people that have legitimate pain but are also drug addict or have addiction problems.
Right.
And also, well, this is a whole different topic. Maybe we'll do another time.
We'll have you on our chronic pain podcast.
I'll do a different show for you.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll have you on the chronic pain podcast.
Like a panel.
Yeah,
exactly.
There we go.
Exactly.
Let's pull it back in.
Okay. Yeah, where were we?
Let's rewind. So you're on set. You're shooting your monologue. How was it on set?
The vibe.
Was there a lot of energy? Were you nervous? Were you like,
unbelievable? The set was unbelievable. And because of my relationship with the lead, at the time, I was able to be on and watch a lot of the scenes, the famous scenes, the kill scenes. Skeet used to come home covered in blood. And so I got to see everything because we were together. If it had just been me, I would have only been on set for one day.
Right.
But because of my situation, I was, there a lot. And it was unbelievable. I describe it as idyllic. It was idyllic. It was everybody was cool. There wasn't a snob or a weird diva in the group. Everybody got along. I can remember laying out by the pool on a day off, and Rose was under 500 umbrellas because she never sat in the sun, beautiful skin. And
yes.
We had the wrap party was so much fun.
Mhm.
Courtney, David, Skeet, and I, we all went on a date. We went race car driving.
Oh,
Really?
Matthew Lillard, and we all became friends. He actually lost our dog while we were in Europe, but that's a different story. He house sat for us. But everybody, and Jamie was so cool.
yeah.
Everybody was just cool. I don't know. I wish if I had some, I don't have anything negative to say. If I did, I probably wouldn't say it, but
Right.
truly it was idyllic. It was like a perfect moment in time.
That's-
And Wes was the best director because it's very rare now that I've lived that you have somebody as talented as him, but is also so grounding and chill. He wasn't frenetic. He knew what he wanted, but he was grounded. He used to whisper in your ear, like he just, the tone and the vibe was great. That's my take. Maybe
I feel like
someone else has got something other to say,
Yeah.
but my opinion, it was just so cool.
I feel like from everything I've heard and everything I've read about Wes, that he didn't let the success go to his head. He was like a very down-to-earth person.
I don't even know if he knew he was successful.
Oh,
He
wow.
did. People that are as talented as him, like my mom always used to say, like the most talented people in the world are the ones that are just at the craft service table talking to everybody. Like,
Right.
I can feel, I think everybody can feel ego on somebody.
Right.
There was no ego with Wes. And we all went to his house for the first dinner. And I sat next to Drew, who's also lovely. And it was just fun. I don't know. I don't even think Wes Craven knew how successful he was. He just didn't have that vibe. It was just more like that's who he was. Like this is what he did. Like a plumber or a mechanic or it wasn't like I'm a director,
Right.
nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you still talk to any of the cast today? Besides,
Not as much. I mean, Nancy Ann and I talk throughout the years. Yeah. But I'm 50 now. So, but yeah, throughout the years I have, but I'm not good friends with anybody like chummy,
right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
He
go over
is
to
an
their house
ex.
and be like, hey, let's have a beer or something tonight.
Well, I don't live in LA anymore, but I definitely would with Neb. I used to go to Neb's house. David and I have known each other since 7th grade.
Right.
Actually just said hi to him. Oh, so I guess, yeah, I did say hi to him through a friend from the convention in Atlantic City. And Courtney Cox is just about the most down-to-earth person you could ever meet. I had never met her, and she knocked on my trailer and opened up the trailer and said, "Hey, it's Courtney," and legitimately sat in my trailer for over 4 years just shooting the shit with me. And I didn't even know her.
Just
So
hanging out.
That's what's up.
I can definitely understand why she has so many friends.
Absolutely.
Courtney is like probably the coolest, like she's a girl's girl or just she's a chill, cool person.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's
So the movie releases. It comes out in December. In 96, December 96. How does your life change from the release of the movie?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to stuff like that.
Okay.
I had a lot of people come up to me and ask me to do the monologue,
Okay.
like on the street.
Okay.
And I did have a lot of people ask for autograph, but I can be very shy. So I didn't really pay much attention to any of it.
Okay.
okay.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have a better answer.
No.
it's fine.
I want you to be genuine. I mean, that's why people are going to tune into this interview. They want to know the real you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you see the last Scream at all? The what was it?
I'm going to.
The
It's on my
requel?
list. It's
Okay.
on my list. How is it?
We have some thoughts on it. I wanted to ask you if you thought Wes would like it. When you watch
Sorry, I can't answer to that.
when you watch it, let me know.
Okay.
Because that episode will be coming out, but we have our own comments on it. And so I wanted to ask you your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're
That's
fine.
fine.
You're fine. So
Yes, I don't know. I'm looking forward to being in another Scream. I mean,
I want them to bring you
Wow.
back.
That would be fun.
well, Wes said he was going to, but he's not with us anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's like, Lee, you don't get killed. So he used to always say, you're going to be in, so I'm still waiting. And I've had some people that have said the cheerleader and the bathroom girl should be in it, because we weren't
Absolutely.
killed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, like Dimension now has it, right? Dimension Films.
Who released the last one? Paramount?
Yeah, it's Paramount. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they will call you. It would be great. What we were saying is in Scream 3, who was the killer? There was the killer that was supposed to be in there. Like
Angelina.
It was if they brought Angelina and Stu back as killers for one of the Screams, that would be great. Because we believe Stu didn't actually die when the TV hit him.
So there you
Right.
go.
And
Then we could have the cheerleader involved too.
Exactly.
I think so. I would love it.
There
That
you
And
would
go.
be-
Nancy Ann would love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Bring
they
her
should
back too. Yeah.
bring both of you back.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Let me check my notes.
The next convention I'm doing, you got it a little bit backwards, but I'm going to the Fayette Comic-Con next week. Just to
Okay.
let you.
Mm-hmm.
For some
15
reason,
and
I thought it was already passed. So
No,
that's
that was
why.
the other. Yeah, this
Mhm.
my agent. They're wanting me to do them now. So this will be my second one.
Mhm.
Okay.
That'd
Okay.
be fun.
So, Scream gets out. It releases. Then you get another movie role. And it's the... Do You Want to Know a Secret?
Mm-hmm.
How was filming that compared to filming Scream?
I think this might be one of those no comment moments.
Okay.
I did that. I was in a lot more of.
Right.
I
Right.
shot that in Jupiter for 21 days.
Jupiter,
Me
Florida.
me and Joey Lawrence. Yeah.
Yep.
And Joey was not. Well, I don't want to like get sued or anything, but there was a lot of drama on that set, and some people were not happy, and some people didn't show up for the end of it, and the ending of the film had to be rewritten.
Yikes.
Wow.
There was a lot of drama on that set.
Oh no.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember I locked myself in the trailer once because I was like, I'm not coming out. There's just too much going on out there. There's just too much stress. Like,
Oh no.
Wow.
not everybody was. I'm not going to name names, but they weren't
don't.
happy with the way things were going, and some people were more diva-ish.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was interesting. It was the producers and all those people were lovely, the director, but there was some things going on, and it was maybe just like the opposite experience maybe
Oh, yeah.
of Scream. But I had so much fun because I got to meet Jeff Conaway, who was in Grease, and
Right.
Grease was my favorite movie as a little girl.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was very exciting for me. He used to smoke these long pink cigarettes and talk about Jesus. And I can't really get into it.
What is your favorite scary movie? If you had to pick one.
Well, I just did an interview at the Atlantic the New Jersey Horror Film Convention, and actually I sat next to Mike Myers, the original, the only
Ooh.
unmasked one, and
Ah.
Halloween as a little girl. That was my scariest movie because
Mhm.
I was 6 years old and my mom was kind of a teenage mom, and I don't think she knew that it probably wasn't a good idea to have, a 6-year-old go see Halloween. So I'm scarred for life, but probably Halloween. And I ended up being friendly with Jamie Lee Curtis later in life, and she's amazing.
Oh,
But
I can imagine.
really
Are
amazing.
you excited for Halloween Ends?
I definitely will probably see that. But my scariest movie, it might not even be a movie that you guys know about, but it scarred me. Like I'm still traumatized, is When a Stranger Calls.
Oh my goodness. That movie scared the heck out of me.
Oh no,
No,
I have
that-
not seen
to
that.
me, that is why I don't really like horror films. And of course I loved Friday the 13th, but
Mhm.
that movie, When a Stranger Calls,
Yeah.
one and done. I can never see that again.
Oh.
And furthermore, the actual actor that was the killer
Mm-hmm.
was in the audience in the theater when we saw it, because we saw it in Westwood in Los Angeles, and everybody sees movies in Westwood. It's like a big deal. And I turned around and there's the killer staring at me. I kid you not.
I would have been like, nope.
It's time to go.
But artistically speaking, I have to be like The Shining, Rosemary's Baby. My ex stepdaughter, she had got me into The Conjuring. So, and I loved The Omen.
Okay.
But I guess the Halloweens and the Friday the 13th, because that's when I came up.
Right.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like this.
Yeah.
Why is Scream so important to so many people in the horror film? Why did it change the way people perceived horror films?
I think the way it was written.
Yeah, it's different.
It's very different, and he takes from this film and this film and this film.
All
and
these little tie-ins to other horror movies.
Puts it all together. I'll tell you. So my parents were divorced when I saw the original Scream, and I was actually with my mom, and I was like 11 years old, 10 or 11 at this time, and she actually let my sister and I watch the movie Scream with her. And I remember it being vivid, and then I told my dad about it, and he got so pissed that she let us watch it when we were so little. And that's my first memory of Scream. Like, I remember getting in trouble with my dad for watching it.
So it wasn't a bonding thing.
I guess not.
My mom was very big into horror movies, so every horror movie or genre, I would go over to her house and watch it. And so we kind of bonded in that way. So I wanted to get in the entertainment industry, and so that's why we kind of do everything we do now, is because she's more the pharmacist, but I bring it out in her, is the creativeness, or she does all the logos and, scripts and everything.
It just seems like Scream means so much to so many people on a really deep level, which I don't really understand, but I can try to understand,
Yeah. That is a very good question. Why does Scream mean... I will put that on a poll in my story. Why does the movie Scream mean so much to somebody, to you as a person?
I know that I have a friend who is obsessed with horror films because I had a wonderful experience at the New Jersey Horror Film, the convention. Meeting the fans are so authentic and they're so into it and they have no shame about it. And it's like a bonding thing and they all know each other. But she told me it brings back very good memories of her childhood, of her cousins, of her family getting together. Because horror movies scare me. They legitimately scare me. Like, I have a hard time watching them. I'm the type of person that will put a knife under my bed or lock all the doors I get very scared. I got so scared reading The Shining, just reading it. So for me, I don't understand. Also, I'm watching the Jeffrey Dahmer thing right now, and it's so disturbing.
Oh,
we're trying to get into that.
Joy. I have no joy watching this.
It's terrible.
We're on the 5th episode.
It's a struggle.
And we're struggling to get into it.
Yeah.
Because it's just so weird.
So horrific.
And
the best line in the movie, in the film, in the series for me, is when it's not a spoiler because everyone knows he goes to jail.
Right.
But the security guy says they should have put you in the electric chair, and Jeffrey Dahmer goes, "I asked them to." Like, he has an awareness of how sick he was, where like a Gacy or a Bundy never admitted to it.
Right.
That's
but
true.
for me, it doesn't give me, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This gives me no pleasure to watch. But I don't understand the pleasure that you guys get from watching horror films.
Well, to answer your question, why does Scream mean so much to me? I guess it's my mom died when I was 15. She died of colon cancer.
I'm sorry.
And so it brings me back to her, like bonding with her. That's why it means so much to me.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
That's what I'm getting at as I enter this world.
I think she likes it because I like it so much, and I get such a high off of them. Like, I love all the Scream movies, and Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. I love it all, but Scream is near and dear to my heart because of my mother.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's why.
Kevin Williamson, the first scene that he wrote was the bathroom scene. And that is how he sold it. And Wes Craven, right before we were shooting the scene, he goes, Lee, he goes, this is a very important scene in the film. And I was like, why? Like in my mind, I was like, it's 30 seconds. I just never understood. And he said, because it sets the tone for this movie. Yes. So I'm very honored to have been in such an iconic film and to have played my little part in that. It's something that can never be duplicated. It's the first Scream. And I had no idea. Actually, he told the costume designer, he said, I want you to style this movie in a way where it's timeless, because you never know. People could be watching this 25 years from now.
He's right.
And look,
Absolutely.
and I feel I got very lucky to be in one of the most famous horror films of our time.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Wes Craven will go down as a legend.
Oh,
he's the overall
amazing.
GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
He's the GOAT.
I wish you guys could have met him. I wish everybody had had a chance to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel very blessed. I wish he was still here.
Me too. Me too. He was a genius at what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do you have any projects coming out?
Actually, I do. I stopped acting for a long time. I did a lot of commercials and TV stuff, and then I directed and ran a theater company. And now that there's been this resurgence and interest in my little part in Scream, I am going to Ohio in a week, and I'm doing The Girl 2, the sequel to The Girl 2, and I'm playing the nurse in a mental ward. It's a pretty big part.
Yeah.
So it'll be my first horror film in a long time, and I'm very excited.
That's very
congratulations.
And Nancy Ann actually has a part in it too. So.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
That's
cool.
great.
My I had no real interest in acting that much anymore, but my agent said, as soon as you start doing the conventions, you're gonna get offers, and sure enough, I did.
Mm-hmm.
So they came pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will let you guys know when it comes out.
Yes,
please.
absolutely. Yeah. Let me break down the agents so people are aware. So you have a convention agent, and then you have agent for like film and television.
Not anymore. I do in New York City, but I wasn't actively doing that.
Okay.
But now I am. So I'm starting back at it.
Do you have?
But it's
are you
much
going to do?
easier when you just get offered a part instead of
Right.
having
Yes.
to audition.
Yeah,
You can skip the audition part and
I'm
everything.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do any like podcasts or anything like that?
What do you mean?
Like,
More
are you going to
interviews?
start your own?
Oh, gosh, I never thought of that.
Food
What
for
would
thought.
I talk about? Horror films?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
No, I had no. I wrote a book. This is very.
I was
yeah.
going to get to that. We were going to get to
Yoga,
that.
right?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
So why don't we bring that up? You wrote a book for yoga.
and it's pinup style because as a thank you to my grandmother.
Right.
Okay.
But this is very near and dear to my heart. It took me 5 years to write it, but it's written from a fan's perspective, so it's not like preachy.
Mm-hmm.
And each chapter is like a couple of pages, and like one of the chapters is pop culture and yoga,
Mm-hmm.
like Julia Roberts' yoga butt, and it's just like a fun yoga book. So
Okay. I actually started.
I'm gonna bring a lot of the fans want to me to sign it and buy it, so I'm bringing it to I'm bringing it next week to the Fayette Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool.
And it's available on Amazon. I think they're just now sold out. So, but normally,
Nice.
and then
Congrats.
my Instagram, I have not been into social media that big, but my Instagram account was hacked and taken over. Yoga Fangirl. So I had to start a new one. So now it's Yoga Fangirl 2 underscores.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. So the one I've been DMing you got hacked?
no, that's the
That's
new
the
one.
right one.
That's the right one. Okay.
Yeah, it's the
No, but the one
old
with
one she's
all
saying.
Okay.
my follower, everything, all my family photos, all my memories,
That
all my
sucks.
everything.
It's horrible.
And
People suck.
I couldn't get it back.
Mhm.
So I'm starting over again. So we're starting from scratch. I'm only sad because my sister just had a baby, and it had all my videos and memories, and
Yeah,
but yeah.
that's terrible.
I got a question from a fan. What is a normal Friday night like for you?
That's so cute. I love to eat Thai food, so probably get Thai food,
Mhm.
and watch a Netflix show.
What's your
right now I'm
favorite?
watching
What is your favorite Netflix show right now?
Well, House of Cards, I watch that over and over again.
Okay.
But right now I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu.
She loves that.
Yeah.
That bothers my
Did
soul.
you see episode 5 yet?
We have not started it.
Okay, so I haven't either. As soon as I'm done with you guys,
Mhm.
I'm gonna cuddle up with my dog. My dog is coming, by the way, to the next one.
What kind of dog do you have?
This is Grizzy, the love of my life.
Aw.
And he's going to be dressed up in a Halloween costume to meet the fans.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
He will be giving paw-agraphs.
Paw-graphs, that's
so
awesome.
cute. What
So
kind of
him and I
Halloween
cuddle up.
costume? What's he
Yeah,
gonna wear?
loves it. Well, obviously he's going to be in Ghostface.
Obviously.
Obviously. I love it. That's great.
So-
I found a Ghostface costume for him.
Oh my gosh. Next thing I'm looking for.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is really cool.
I guess I'm sort of boring, but yeah, Netflix and some Thai food
Okay.
or pizza.
I mean, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Do you have a website that you want to promote, or anybody can go see, or where can people find you?
No, I'm on a lot of the fans. I'm on Facebook, but it is private. But if I know somebody, you can friend me. But I guess just Instagram.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yoga fangirl 2_. Like I'm just now getting into social media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of
No,
work.
I'm a lot older than you guys, so
You and I are pretty
you guys are
around the
used
same
to-
age.
I would.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, you look really young.
I'm 37.
No, sweetie, I'm older than you.
Disagrees.
Oh, well, I guess the history I read is wrong then.
Sweetie, I was in Scream 25 years ago.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
50. I'm
Yeah, it's
50.
definitely wrong.
But it
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
really matter. I'm ageless.
Yes.
Yes.
you're-
Yes. Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to add anything else?
Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
Anything
Just
we
that
haven't?
I'm really, really excited, and I will be posting on my Facebook and my Instagram all of the conventions because I'm going to be doing a lot of them. I'm going to be going to Europe, and I'm going to try to sign as many of the posters as I can for everybody. And I've had so much fun doing it. So I'm just really excited to meet everybody. Nancy Ann does them with me. So if you want to meet the bathroom girls,
Yeah.
follow us. And it's a new thing that I'm doing. So I would just love to meet everybody. And I'll keep you guys posted
Yes.
with all my new horror film
Yes,
ventures.
please do.
Yes.
This is my first one, The Girl Part 2.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Awesome.
That's nice.
Well, I'm so happy that you agreed to come on.
Yes.
Yes.
You know.
Thank
I've
you.
been thrilled about it since we got you. I was like, we got her. Yes, it's
So
coming.
excited.
So excited.
Mhm,
So
yeah, mhm.
thank you so
It's
much.
really great to meet you guys.
Yeah. Same.
Yes.
And
I'm gonna.
if you do another podcast, I'd love to be on a panel for the pain pill thing. That kind of
Yeah.
stuff interests me.
Yeah. We'll have to put
Yes.
something together.
Separate from horror, I'm interested in medicinal medicine too.
Yeah.
It was really lovely to meet you guys. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, no. Well, anything else you want to
I
ask?
don't know. I think that was all the questions we had.
Yeah, you were great.
Mhm, it was
I will
so
let
much
you know
fun.
when this gets out when we edit it.
Thank you
Definitely.
so much.
Mhm.
If you can
You guys
help
have a
promote
good
it.
night.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Keep in touch.
I
Yes,
will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast is produced and hosted by Robby and Sammi Brooksby as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Podcast Network. Post-production and intro by Sammi Brooksby. Follow the show on Instagram at BoogeymanPod. You can also follow the Limitless Broadcasting Company at Limitless Broadcasting and your horror hosts at Robert 1950 Studios and at The Samalam. We also have a TikTok at 1950 Studios. Email your creepy comments and spooky suggestions to us at boogeymanpod@gmail.com. Don't forget, everyone is entitled to one good scare. Have a horrific week.